We'll run through a few of these here quick in terms of solving for a variable. Cases like this, starting simple, solving for this variable, I need to have x all by itself. There's a negative in front. How do I eliminate that negative? There's one of two ways. I can either, and I'll show it here as two different ways. I can either take negative x equaling 3 and multiply everything by negative 1. Now I can do distributive property over the equal sign. Negative 1 times negative x, negative times a negative is a positive. Negative 1 times positive 3 is negative 3. That's one way I can do it. The other way I can do it is divide everything by negative 1. Now it's easier here if I just show that I do it individually by negative 1. So then I have a negative 1 divided by a negative 1. Because although it's not written there, it's implied that there's a negative 1 in front of that x. Those reduce, leaving me with just x, and on the right-hand side, negative 3. Solving for x, again, working my way inside out, and if we're trying to remember our order of operations, generally speaking, when I'm solving, I'm going to go in reverse order. So I'm going to use adding and subtracting to get rid of what is furthest away. Typically, that's what's going on. So in this case, I have this 5 that I need to eliminate on the left-hand side in order to get x all by itself. Because again, ultimately what I'm looking for is x all by itself down here at the bottom. So to do that, the inverse of adding 5 is subtracting 5. And I recall that this is a balance. So whatever happens to one side has to happen to the other. Negative 5 plus 5, so I'm left with negative x equaling negative 2. And like I did in the previous problem, divide by negative 1, leaving me with x equals positive 2. Good idea to go back up here, though, and check it. If I plug that negative 2, or sorry, that 2 in there, I'm going to have negative 2 plus 5, just substituting it in. Negative 2 plus 5 is 3. And it's supposed to be 3. My work checks. Doesn't always have to be x, although we see x a lot. But again, now my variable is y, and ultimately I want to have y equals down here at the bottom. So I need to move my y's over. I need to move my numbers over. Doesn't really matter which one you do first. I'm going to start with the numbers. I'm going to start by subtracting 6 from both sides. I'll have 5y plus 0. I don't write the plus 0. You can if you want. 3y, negative 6 minus 6. So I'm 6 in the hole, taking 6 more away. I'm at negative 12. Pay close attention when you're adding, subtracting those negatives. Need to move my y's to the other side. To do that, I'm going to subtract 3y. A common mistake right here is people will divide by 3y because they think it's multiplying, but it's not. It's being held together with this subtraction over here. So to get rid of a positive 3y, I subtract 3y, leaving me with 2y equaling negative 12. Divide both sides by 2, y is negative 6. Go back in, and if you plug that number in for each of the y values, I should get the same number on both sides. Last one here for this morning. Well, morning as I'm working on this problem. I need to find x all by itself. And in a case like this, you can move it either side that you want. Sometimes, well, we'll just go like this. Add 3x to both sides of the equation. Remember, it is a balance. 4x. Sorry, it's a negative 4x because I have negative 7 adding 3, so now I only owe 4x equaling negative 8. Divide by negative 4, divide by negative 4. Those reduce to 1. X equals 2. There we go. That's a little bit on single variable equations.